Jr., who absolutely balled when they needed him. The guy dropped 12 points in the fourth quarter. He gave you another dozen in overtime. I mean, this guy was playing out of his mind over his skis, and yet he made the two consequential mistakes, the two turnovers with 30 seconds to go that ended up costing the Milwaukee Bucks a chance to seal that game. I hate it for him, and it's got to be absolutely soul-sucking for Milwaukee Bucks fans, because now your team has had 3 consecutive postseason appearances when you've been one and done, and it could cost you one of the 2 best players in the world. Giannis is a top 2 player in the world, and maybe not 2. That's how good he is. And now he could be looking for another place to call home to take advantage of the prime of his career, because this Milwaukee Bucks franchise, across multiple head coaches, across multiple iterations, hasn't been able to find a way to put the supporting cast around him to get him back to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it really is devastating for Milwaukee. You mentioned it, CC. 3 straight first-round exits. You acquire Dame. The injury happens. Obviously, this is not what you expected for this era of Bucks basketball with Giannis. You got 1 title, but you expected more. And you compared it to Miami, Evan, where that was devastating in one way for Heat fans, because that's just not what the organization has been for a long time, to lose in that manner. But moving forward, there's hope that you could find a way to add to what you have now or recalibrate, whereas Milwaukee, their fans are sitting here saying, okay, we have 3 straight first-round exits, and now our best player could be out the door, because that's going to be a conversation for a while. So I don't even think it's close. That if you're a Bucks fan today, it's probably worse than if you're a Heat fan.
So if anybody didn't see this or hear this last night, so the Pacers eliminate the Bucks, 119-118 win in overtime, okay? And Milwaukee was up. Listen to what I'm saying. This is ridiculous. They were up 118-111 with 40 seconds to go in overtime. That's 7 points with 40 seconds to go. The game closed on an 8-0 run by Indiana. AJ Green missed a free throw for the Bucks. Nembhard had a 3 for the Pacers. As CC mentioned, Gary Trent Jr., who was great, had a turnover. Halliburton has an and one. Trent has another turnover. Then Halliburton has a layup, and they win the game 119-118 in overtime. It was so fast-moving, you can't believe it happened. I'm literally sitting there watching this game on NBA TV last night, and I had to rewind it. I watched it again. I'm like, this really didn't happen this way, because I'm already preparing in my head, like, oh, I got a couple of takes ready to go. Like, could Giannis come back? And 30 points, not even 33. The over on our parlay last night. It drives me nuts. And he was, listen, Giannis was unbelievable. The effort that Giannis put out was, there was one play. It's hard to explain, but help me if I get this wrong. He basically blocked the shot. The ball was going out of bounds. It never hit the ground. He then, in the same, I don't even know how he humanly did this, then found a way to reach and tip it back in on his own block. Yeah. The guy gave everything he had last night, and they collapsed like that. We just talked about one of the greatest meltdowns ever, right? That wasn't the story. That wasn't a headline today.
The skirmish?
I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's dad, for whatever reason, decides to get on the court after the game and talk junk to Giannis. And I want to point this out. The Halliburton family is from Wisconsin. So it's not like we have such bad blood. Like, that's their home state team. And he's getting in Giannis's face. Then they get separated. Then he gets back in his face. And they go head-to-head. We're showing it on ESPN2 right now. And Giannis showed insane restraint. I thought he was going to clock him at one point. And I don't even know. I'm not suggesting somebody should hit somebody else. I don't even know if I could blame him. The guy's coming into his workspace, getting in his face. It's ridiculous. Giannis had this to say post-game about the interaction with Tyrese Halliburton's dad.
You know, having somebody's dad, which I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his son, and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Okay? And I'm not the guy that points fingers, because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. So I don't want to say something, for him to say to get fined or anything. But it's not respectful. I talked with him at the end, and I think we're in a good place.
Snitches do get stitches. Shout out to Giannis for that one. But I cannot believe that this happened, and I cannot believe the amount of time it was allowed to happen, where he was on the court. You clearly see them in the moment, it intensifying. Giannis is obviously so much bigger than him, leaning over him. They're in one another's face, jawing at each other. You can see the veins in Giannis's neck pop out. It does look like they're about to throw down. But the fact that he would do that after a victory like that, I'm with Giannis. I thought it was so incredibly disrespectful, and I cannot believe that immediately once he got on the floor and they were in one another's faces like that he wasn't removed, that it was allowed to go on for even as long as it did.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a typical fan and not a player's dad, we would be having a conversation about that fan being banned.
Absolutely.
I don't know how the NBA is going to handle that moving forward. The relationship obviously is a little bit different. John Halliburton is the father of an all-NBA player and an Olympian gold medalist in Tyrese Halliburton. So I'm not suggesting that he will be banned. But this is the step you don't cross, which is going on the court right after the conclusion of the game and antagonizing Giannis. And this is one of the most humble superstars that we have, not just in basketball, but in all of sports. Now, I get it. This was a chippy series. They were back and forth. I mean, these teams were going at it, right? And it was an incredible comeback by the Pacers because they were down by 20 in the first half.
Yeah.
So for them to claw themselves back into this game and find a way to win it in the end when it was improbable, I think they were down 7 with 35 seconds left. When you have that type of comeback, yeah, there's going to be a little bravado. There's going to be a little, a little trash talking, a little celebrating, But for the father of Tyrese Halliburton to do what he did last night is completely out of pocket. I will say Tyrese Halliburton is a class act by apologizing for the actions of his father and saying that was a bridge too far, but that's not something that can happen again. And I'm not sure how the NBA addresses that. I don't know if it's just them releasing a statement, but that can't happen.
You mentioned the apology. Let's hear from Tyrese Halliburton post-game after his team advanced in the next round to face the Cleveland Cavaliers.
The emotions of the game just got excited there. But I talked with him. I'll talk with Giannis eventually about it. Just, I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there. And unfortunate, what happened in the end there. But, I mean, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth. And that's just part of, this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And, it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree with what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and we'll just go from there.
I mean, Halliburton.
Yes.
Like, he may have gotten arrested because he went on the court post-game. Now, obviously, you get a pass in that spot. The thing that's amazing for me as a parent, I see things like this every single weekend when I go to my kids' games. No, not fights like this. Stuff that you're like, what? I can't believe it doesn't end.
So the parents taunting,
not at the kids,
taunting the opposing.
Well, I've seen
players?
that. I've seen that. I've seen them go at referees.